Excellencies, dear ladies and gentlemen, I spend so much time traveling to attend meetings or make speeches, and I must say that it is really a pleasure to come home to Slovenia with a mission to do both. Therefore, I thank very much the organizers of Ljubljana Forum for inviting me. I will talk about political framework, about European political framework, about the history of our common energy policy, and about our future challenges, so that you will know how to place energy efficiency in the priorities of European Union. Today, we are talking about visions, innovation, creativeness, and future. In this context, I would like to tell you something about the European Union's energy policy and how it can help us re-establish our economic momentum by creating new and innovative jobs. As some of you may know, I am lucky enough to have enjoyed 2 careers in my professional life. First in the energy sector and then in EU politics. So, to talk on European energy policy should be natural for me. Also, I am a mother of 2 young adults who, like so many of young Europeans, will be looking for employment in the coming years. Considering that the most recent figures show a youth unemployment rate across the European Union has increased to 21% and in some member states also to 50%. This is a large and important challenge. However, by tackling the economic crisis in a proactive and innovative way and with wise investments in the areas that will generate returns, we can not only start working towards a higher employment of European youth, but also towards a more stable, competitive and stronger European economy. One area of wise investments is that of energy. And energy is one policy field which is becoming more and more important at the European level. As we know, the European Union is a product of more than 60 years of integration. Energy policy is one of the oldest policy fields of the EU. The very first areas of cooperation were within the coal and steel community and the European Community for Nuclear Energy. Until relatively recently, however, European energy policy was the domain of member states' governments coming together to agree on international treaties. The European Parliament was acting only as an observer. The 1972 oil crisis and the political developments in Europe in the 1980s added some urgency for quicker development of what in 2009 became the common energy policy. The first EU agreements in the energy field mostly covered topics such as the diversification of energy supply, 10-year energy goals, coordination among member states, promotion of nuclear energy, hydrocarbon and solid fuels, diversification of supply in Europe, and promotion of a more rational use of energy. As energy policy developed, it was accompanied by several environmental initiatives promoting a combination of economic objectives with a responsible approach for the future of our planet. More and more policymakers have come to the conclusion that energy, economy and climate change should be tackled together. So, we now have a so-called sustainability triangle, defining the needed energy policy based on economic development, environmental responsibility and independence of energy supply, of energy import. There is an interdependency of these 3 aspects that makes it both difficult and essential to achieve them. We cannot have economic recovery without getting our citizens, especially the young who will be our future, back to work. To get full employment, we must be globally competitive, so our energy supply must not only be cleaner, but also be competitively priced and free from the political interference that accompanies external dependency. Yes, That is a challenge, but one that has no room for failure. From what I have presented so far, I believe that you can already see why investments in the energy field can importantly enhance job creation and tackle the issue of youth unemployment in Europe. Especially in times when money is scarce, we need to choose our investments wisely. According to the impact assessment analysis that the European Commission had made in the light of Energy Roadmap 2050, some subsectors of energy policies, like for example, energy efficiency in buildings, tend to be highly labor-intensive. These green technologies and related innovations can have a direct positive effect of relative growth and indirect positive effect on energy policy. These investments could include increased innovation, increased export potential for green technologies, and less fossil fuel imports. The studies of the European Commission also evaluate net employment effects of the EU's current energy and climate targets of about plus 1% of jobs. In addition, an independent study from 2009 foresees that if Europe really wishes to decarbonize, an estimated 0.7% higher employment rate is expected in 2020. This corresponds to some 1.5 million new jobs. These jobs are expected to be for higher skilled people, as they are most likely to be in the field of energy saving or new forms of energy generation. In this way, the greening of the economy can stimulate the demand for highly skilled and also highly paid workers and allow for the creation of new and innovative jobs. The Energy Roadmap presents a number of scenarios for the year 2050, and the highest figures for employment can be found in the high energy efficiency and high renewable energy sources scenarios. And for both goals, we have now in European Union legislative documents, the Directive on Renewable Energy Sources, which is already some years old, and we are good on the way to achieve the goals, and just recently, last month, adopted Energy Efficiency Directive, which we in the European Parliament really believe will initiate some new, will push economy to develop in this direction. At this point, I would like to stress that it is not only the member states of the European Union, all 27 of them, that can help us to achieve the above-mentioned energy and climate change goals and allow for the creation of these new jobs. The cities and the regions also have their important role to play. As was already mentioned today, this fact was underlined at the Rio Plus 20 summit in June this year, where the EU's Committee of the Regions signed an agreement with the United Nations Environment Programme to promote sustainable European cities and regions, but also other continents at a global level, aimed at engaging cities and regions and encouraging them to becoming more sustainable. The actions in this field consequently also lead to better energy efficiency, cleaner energy that we use in the cities, and a more sustainable scheme of energy security. And in addition, sustainable cities offer new employment opportunities. Local actions are important both in mitigation and adaptation, placing cities at the forefront of climate protection and energy policies. Actions to save energy, cooling without electric air conditioning, and reduce traffic and land use should be on every city's agenda. Cities can play a major role in promoting environmentally friendly industries, technologies, and products, and it should be remembered that sustainable cities do not only attract people, they also attract business. Some experts say that with the right innovation and incentives in place, cities can allow high living standards to be combined with resource consumption that is much lower than the norm in most cities today. This is achieved not with an over-optimistic view on what new technologies can bring, but through a wider application of what already has been shown to work by the more innovative and accountable city and municipal governments and their partnership with civil society groups. Ladies and gentlemen, The challenges that we are facing in the field of energy, environment, and the economy are big. The time for talking is over, and the time for action is upon us and urgently needed. What we need now is implementation of existing legislation and policies, and we need a stable roadmap to reassure investors and cities that their money will not go to waste. This is what the EU can and will do with the document called Energy Roadmap 2050. We must be ready and happy to cooperate at national, European, and where appropriate for the environment on an international level. Only in this way can we address the changing climate, scarcity of resources, and the demographic challenges and move towards a cleaner, newer, and more efficient Europe. A Europe of opportunity for young people. So, in conclusion, allow me to say that in our future energy policy, I believe we need stability which will allow for stable investments, completion of the single competitive energy market, investments in the needed infrastructure, a drastic reduction in unemployment levels, especially in the 18 to 24 age group, and targeted R&D finance. And most importantly, EU-wide cooperation to achieve our common goals. Thank you for your attention.